So Twitter seems to be a buzz of reporters and news agencies and organizations all over the United States and in some cases around the world informing us that they have refused to sign the pledge that Pete Hesgeth has created in order for reporters to maintain their security clearance and their access to the Pentagon, which means as of tomorrow, there will be one reporter in the press pool for the Pentagon. Now, this is sort of unprecedented. It's definitely the more interesting move that Hesgeth has made, at least in my opinion. But it's not illegal. You're going to see a lot of news agencies and reporters say that this is a violation of the First Amendment. It's a violation of the check and balance that the press is supposed to place on the government, and that's just not true. And what you're going to hear, and I'll bet you, I'm going to place this bet right now. And if I'm right, you have to like and subscribe. But my bet is that they are going to cite the New York Times company versus the U.S. in the Pentagon Papers case. And they're going to claim that this is a violation of that precedent set by the Supreme Court. And they're just wrong. See, the U.S. government was trying to prevent the New York Times from publishing something that they already had. The New York Times already had the Pentagon Papers. They already knew what the story was. And the U.S. government under Nixon said, no, don't do that. That's going to hurt national security. And the Supreme Court decided, while using strict scrutiny, which, like I've said before in the past, is the highest level of scrutiny, they said that there was no compelling purpose for national security, that it was not going to directly harm troops in the field. All it was going to do was inform the American citizen of what the United States government was doing. So that's not the case here. The New York Times v. U.S. makes it clear that once the reporter has the information, there are protections that the First Amendment provides them. But this, honestly, and just to say it straight, this is to prevent them from getting the information. New York Times doesn't prevent the government from putting up roadblocks to prevent reporters from getting the information. It just prevents them from being able to stop them reporting that information once they have it. So these new guidelines that Pete and the DoD created, they involve signing this pledge. It's a 17-page pledge. The pledge itself has not been made public. We don't know what it says. At least I couldn't find what it says. But what I was able to kind of get from different reports and stuff like that basically say that it basically says that the reporter promises not to obtain, gather, or use any information and that's including unclassified material that has not been formally authorized for public release by an appropriate DoD official. Now, to me, that's the kind of iffiest part of this whole thing, is that sort of sounds like what the DoD and the Pentagon want these reporters to be, is just stenographers for the official Pentagon release. And that's not what they're supposed to be. They are supposed to be a check on the unbridled power of the DoD. You know, they're supposed to be able to investigate and report what they find. Now, the big problem is, and I think it's one of the reasons Pete has created this thing, is that's not what they've done over the years. They've become puppets for the left and the globalists. So I think that the purpose of this is to prevent them from being able to smear and destroy the confidence that we have in our military. But I think that's the iffiest part. It also restricts movement in the Pentagon. Reporters will no longer be able to just walk around in any of the non-classified areas. They are now only allowed to go to the press bullpen, the cafeteria, and the courtyard. And if they want to go anywhere else, they have to be escorted by an authorized official. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me. Also, they must comply with all security protocols, which means that they must be visibly wearing their press credential badge. Apparently, this wasn't a very popular thing in the last 30 or 40 years. They just like show up, which blows my mind. I don't understand how we ever allowed that. Just some random person who could be a random person just walking in and be like, oh, no, I'm with Fox News. Oh, okay, come on in. Like, what if they're not? And then an acknowledgement that any violation, no matter how small, could result in the revocation of their access, which again seems fine to me. All of this, I think, is going to hinge on this agreement not to publish information that's obtained outside of official DoD people. That seems to be what they're really complaining about. They don't like this. But again, I mean, they don't have to like it. They're going to lose access tomorrow. And if they want to get it back, they're going to have to sign the pledge. I don't think Pete's backing down. I don't think Trump's going to back down on that either. So what I see happening is these news organizations are going to get together and they're probably going to sue Donald Trump. And, well, they'll probably sue Pete Hesgeth and his authority as the Secretary of War, which will be cool because it'll be the first time, at least that I'm aware of, that Secretary of War pops up on a court headline in 70 years. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's the big thing going on in the Pentagon right now. Who knows who's going to blink first? I imagine that the Supreme Court, they'll end up deciding this. And they're probably going to say it's absolutely within their right to limit who's able to go into the Pentagon. You may have the right to report, but you do not have the right to receive access no matter what. That's an executive decision. We're not going to allow you to breach that executive decision just because you're a reporter. Like, that's not that special of a class anymore, especially with this Supreme Court. But yeah, guys, hey, if you're still here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below what you think about these new rules that Pete Hesgeth is instituting, and let me know if you have any questions. See y'all next time.